What if I told you that in just a single year, the Department of Labor helped recover over $10 million in stolen, unpaid wages for workers exactly like you? Imagine putting in long, exhausting hours, sacrificing your personal time, only to have your hard-earned money quietly pocketed by the very people you work for. It happens literally every day. But here's the thing. You absolutely do not have to just sit back and take it. So let's dive straight into this explainer and discover exactly how workers in New Jersey are successfully fighting back against wage theft.
Okay, I want to start us off with a pretty startling fact. Under the New Jersey Wage Theft Act, if your employer illegally withholds your pay, you can recover your full unpaid wages plus up to 200% in liquidated damages. To put that into perspective, if your boss steals $1,000 from you, they could end up legally owing you $3,000. Talk about a massive penalty, right?
Here is our quick roadmap for today. We're covering 1. Your wage rights in New Jersey, 2. Preparing your wage claim, 3. Exactly how to file it, 4. What happens after you hit submit, 5. Some alternative options, and lastly, an important educational disclaimer. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Your wage rights in New Jersey and understanding the New Jersey Wage Theft Act. So, unpaid wages aren't just some simple debt. Like we just talked about, the law allows you to collect up to triple the amount you were originally owed. This is known as a treble damages remedy, and it is specifically designed to severely penalize employers who try to delay your compensation. Basically, the state treats withholding your pay as a huge violation that carries massive financial consequences for them.
And when you compare New Jersey to federal law, the difference is just staggering. While the federal standard gives you 2, maybe 3 years tops to claim unpaid wages, New Jersey gives you this massive 6-year window. And get this, that 6-year clock starts ticking from the exact date your wages were originally due. It applies completely retroactively. Since every single missed paycheck is its own separate violation, you can literally reach back and recover years of continuous wage theft. Now, a huge loophole employers try to use is misclassifying you as an independent contractor, just so they don't have to pay you overtime or minimum wage. You know, like telling a delivery driver, hey, you're your own boss, just to save a quick buck. But in New Jersey, there's something called the ABC test, which presumes you are a standard W-2 employee right from day one. Your boss can't just slap the contractor label on you. They have to legally prove you operate an entirely independent business. If they can't do that, well, you're an employee, and you get all the wage protections that come with it. If you work for tips, you really need to pay close attention to 2 things, the 80-20 rule and the makeup requirement. Say you're a server. If your tips on a super slow shift fall short, or if you spend more than 20% of your shift doing non-tipped side work, like rolling silverware or cleaning up the back, your employer legally has to make up that financial difference out of their own pocket. They have to ensure you hit that full standard minimum wage, no matter what. All right, moving on to Section 2, preparing your wage claim and building your evidence. Look, before you submit anything, you need to compile your highest weight evidence. The Labor Board deals in cold, hard facts, not guesswork. So gather things like pay stubs, official timesheets, or even your own personal spreadsheets tracking the hours you worked. Definitely save those text messages and emails where your boss tells you to work off the clock, and please make sure to physically back all of this data up somewhere safe. You're building a totally undeniable paper trail here. But hey, don't panic if your boss kept things off the books or just paid you cash under the table. Employers are legally required to keep strict payroll records. If the Labor Board investigates and your boss can't produce those records, the law creates what's called a rebuttable presumption in your favor. Basically, that means the state will just assume your personal records are completely accurate, and the burden is entirely on your boss to prove otherwise. Section 3. How to file your claim. Let's walk through the step-by-step guide. First up, choosing the right form, because picking the wrong one is just going to cause you massive administrative headaches. For standard unpaid wages, minimum wage, or overtime disputes, you'll use Form MW31A. If you happen to work on public works projects and got shorted on the prevailing wage, that's MW31B. And if you've been misclassified as a contractor or punished for speaking up about your pay, you're going to grab Form MW31C. The absolute best and most efficient way to submit all this is through the secure online portal on the state's website. Filing online instantly kicks back an automated confirmation number to your email. That is super helpful because it lets you easily track your case status down the road. A couple of quick procedural rules to keep in mind. First, you absolutely cannot file a joint claim with your coworkers, even if you are all victims of the exact same wage theft. Every single person has to file their own individual form. Also, you cannot have a lawsuit running in civil court at the exact same time for the same issue. If you do, the Labor Board will pause your administrative claim so you aren't double dipping in the legal system.
Section 4. What happens after filing and diving into the investigation process.
This timeline maps out the road ahead. Now, government investigations do take some time, but you won't be left completely in the dark. You'll get an acknowledgement within 10 days of filing. After that, once a field investigator is actually assigned to your case, state policy dictates that they give you regular status updates every 30 days. And let me tell you, your assigned investigator has a ton of authority. They don't just sit around making phone calls. They follow a strict pathway that can include showing up completely unannounced at your employer's business. They can audit up to 6 years of payroll records right on the spot. And they can even privately pull your coworkers aside to corroborate your story before your boss even has a chance to spin things. Now, you absolutely have the right to file anonymously if you want to protect your identity. But honestly, doing so severely limits the investigation. Think about it. If they don't know who you are, investigators can't contact you to clarify details, ask follow-up questions, or get more evidence from you. Because of that, anonymous filings historically have much, much lower resolution rates. But if you're hesitating because you're worried about putting your name on a claim, listen to this. If you are fired, demoted, or get your hours cut within 90 days of filing a claim, or honestly, even just complaining to your boss about your pay, the state establishes an automatic rebuttable presumption of retaliation. Meaning, your boss will have to legally prove to the government that they fired you for a completely legitimate reason and not just out of revenge. Section 5. Alternative options and resources. Looking beyond the administrative path.
If navigating this whole administrative system feels a little overwhelming, especially for low-income workers, undocumented workers, or anyone who needs language support, you are definitely not alone. There are incredible advocacy groups and legal clinics out there. Organizations like Make the Road New Jersey and Legal Services of New Jersey that offer direct representation and support to make sure your voice is actually heard.
There is also a hard math limit you need to know about here. The administrative path caps out at $50,000. So if you're owed wages, plus those massive 200% liquidated damages we talked about earlier, added to more than $50,000, you actually have to waive the excess money if you stay with the Labor Board. That's exactly why for those larger sums, you'll probably need to bypass the Labor Board entirely and file a civil lawsuit in Superior Court to get your full amount. Section 6, important educational disclaimer and knowing your next steps. Okay, while this explainer gives you a really powerful roadmap to understand the landscape, it is for educational purposes only and definitely does not substitute for professional legal advice. Your very next step should be sitting down with a qualified employment attorney who can look at the exact details of your case. The state of New Jersey has given workers some incredible legal weapons to fight wage theft. The only question is, are you ready to use them to claim the money you've already earned?